So basically I talk about a farm we have in Brixton, super summer dry, 4 degrees warmer than my other farm in Manaia, and just really open, like generally really hard to beat than just opening up the pasture every time I got through till summer. And so that was my main goal. And so my observations from, I've done quite a lot of lime, really thought about, first and foremost, what am I doing for my soil is kind of like the first thing on my mind. And then what can I see, because I take these actions to look after my soil, am I going to see that coming through in my pasture? And so from taking actions to think about my soil better, like biological inputs and some diverse pasture species, really slowing the round a lot in the summer, just really trying to manage towards like leaf stage and stuff, that we have got a much denser pasture than we ever had before. Now all the way through the summer, really good clover, plantain works really well in our system. We've got some broom that find really good. But yeah, so that's our basic main measurement is that pasture dense? Am I growing more pasture? So we probably grow 12, and I'll probably be able to run a much more profitable system at say 15. So that's quite a big chunk more to grow. But I do believe that if we do concentrate on that pasture, that we can improve that. On that soil, we can improve that amount of density in our pasture and just holding on more. The only way that you can get denser pasture is by having better rooting. So when I first dug a hole a couple of years ago, our roots were like probably pretty typical of a lot of roots around Taranaki. They just went sideways. So we were farming probably 2 centimetres of soil. Even though we were soil testing 10, we weren't farming it anyway, we were only farming the top 2, and all our roots went sideways. So straight down and sideways, so you're farming pretty close to a drought. And this year, we saw it this year, but on a typical year, we could go from growing 100 a day up on Christmas Day to within 2 weeks growing 8 a day once the rain stops. So it's quite a significant leap to get past, to keep that pasture going. So yeah, now our roots grow. So we've treated our whole farm the same, and all our roots now grow down. And we would have opened up our pasture, like sort of on average across the farm. We would now have roots that can get down like this. So I looked to track body condition scores to see how well our system was working. So I took over a pretty typical New Zealand system, stocked pretty highly. The idea being super summer dry, the idea being stock it high, get all the production you can pre-Christmas, and then if you need to, just shut down. Like that was the system, and that works really well, but it is quite hard on the cows, and whether or not the cows can handle that's a whole other philosophical question that we don't need to talk about. But I do try and aim to have our cows sitting at quite a nice condition score where they're not getting too taxed. So condition score is a really good way to measure whether or not you've got enough feed going, and that would be my main goal at this point, is to be able to pull out where I've managed to remove the addiction to N, but I'm still pretty hard to pull out the PK, so we still feed that. But if I could, my aim would be to be able to make a system that keeps growing through the summer, so that I've just got that gap between December and March mainly, that we can fill up a little more with better pasture and not have to put so much PK in there. Would be I feel like I would have achieved something if I got to that point.
Thank you. That's great.